Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be having a little bit of a chat about a new brand that Asus is introducing called Strix. Now there has been some chit chat on the forums and a little bit and bob on some of the video comments, so I thought I'd kind of get the two bits together that they've released so far and understand, or rather explain where where the brand's going to be going, because the analogy with the owl, as I'll show you in a second, actually for some of these things, because sometimes the Taiwanese or Chinese or however you want to, kind of where you want to put it, the analogies can be a little bit far-fetched, but the owl with this actually does make a little bit of sense, to the point you're like, okay, yeah, I can see where they're coming from with this. So I've obviously got the two products that they've released thus far, and that's the the GTX 780 Strix Overclock Edition. This is the one with 6 GB of VRAM, and then I've got the Strix Pro Headset here, and the headset's the one which I will show you up close in a minute, but it's the one with the kind of the owl eyes, and when you fold the headsets around, the ear cups around rather, you can see the eyes, although we have got the eyes on the headset, they're on the graphics card as well here. But what I'll do is I'm going to show you some slides, but I will show you the products up close afterwards and kind of chat to you about my thoughts on the analogy and the brand, and where things are going with this as well. Also a few little insidey bits that I've heard from Asus as well about how they're going to be playing this. So yeah, right, so trying to keep things swift, we'll move on to a slide, and if you have a look, basically this first one is about the headset, and they're saying that you can stay cool and near silent. So essentially the stay cool thing is the way that the headset kind of goes over your ears, and the near silent is it's got noise cancellation. So like, for argument's sake, any chatting in the background, or kind of like clickety-clacketing of your mechanical keys and stuff. That I will show you the way it works in a sec, but there's a noise cancellation feature, so it should only talk, you should only get your voice going through the headset to go to your mates, and not kind of everything that might be going on in the background. Maybe someone drops a cup, maybe someone is printing something, or doors clacking, baby crying, something like that. That should drown all of that out. Sharp hearing, they're saying that you've got really precise audio positioning, which is something that could be very, very useful in game. But again, this is something that I'm going to kind of expand on with the owl analogy in a little minute. If we move on to another audio slide, we can see that there's it looks like the same picture in the background, and it pretty much is, but we've got a little bit more detail on this one. This one says about the sharp hearing. They've actually got 60mm I can never pronounce this, neodymium magnet drivers, and they are actually really good, and they do really chump the bass into your head as well, so that's really good. High adaptivity, this is a very, very good point. I'll show you the adapters a little bit later on as well, but they do come with separate adapters, so you can plug it into your PC, which is obviously via the your little dial thing, which I'll show you, which is where the noise cancellation comes from, but it also comes with adapters, so you can plug it into PS4 and your Xbox, and mobiles and tablets and smartphones and all types of stuff like that. High adaptivity, you can, as again I will show you, the ear cups all fold and will adapt and move around your head, so they're really comfortable. And up in the top right hand corner you can see the box includes a built-in microphone that actively detects and counters more than 90% of environmental noise, so that's your noise cancellation. This actually works really well as well. So for those of you with like mechanical keyboards, or babies, or generally women in the background that are going to moan at you or be stomping around, or have EastEnders up or something, this will help to drown out all of that. But if we were to move on to the graphics card one, you can see it says sharp eyesight, so smooth and responsive graphics. Then we've got tactical mind, execute every move in silence. You can't really execute every move in silence. It has got a 0 dBA fan tech, but once you start loading it up, that will come on. Real-time response and monitoring with GPU Tweak just means that you've got an app which they fixed and sorted out so you can overclock your graphics card. It's actually the Asus GPU Tweak with Asus graphics cards is better than Afterburner in my opinion. Then we've got down here powerful Talon, and this is the only far-fetched bit about it really. But you have got a good overclocking headroom. You've got DigiPlus BRM, super alloy power, concrete chokes, that kind of thing. Now, what I will do is I will bring you back. Now that all may sound a little bit kind of nuts, but let's think about this with an open mind as far as an owl's concerned. Maybe a little bit of a nature lesson. Owls are they hunt at night. They're dead silent. I mean, if you see one, it's because it's caught your eye, not because you've heard it. Well, unless they're crying out, but they don't generally do that. So when you think about the silence and the hunting, that's the audio positioning and the fact that we've got the noise cancellation on there as well. And that's also, when you put it across, the silence and the hunting as well, your frames per second, your VRAM, that's all well and good. And then we've got the 0 dBA feature. And that's, it's light graphics card loading that it will work on. So kind of really light games it won't touch. But obviously once you do load it up, it's still got the DirectCU heatsink underneath. Now that's the only confusing bit about the Strix thing. It's got DCU2 written on the back. I think it should have just said Strix personally, but it's got the DCU cooler, which is basically a direct contact cooler. It does help keep things all really cool, calm and collected, but obviously they've now introduced it so that the fans under light loading will just completely turn themselves off altogether. And I think that's quite nice because you don't necessarily need those fans running when you're on your desktop and stuff like that, and it just helps keep those moments when you're not gaming and you've not got your headset and stuff on extra quiet. Now I obviously have got like notes and stuff here because it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to remember all these brands and all these points and all that type of stuff. The owls and the eyes, it's going to be a love or a hate thing really. I'm just looking for my remote so I can bring you in. On the headset you can see it the most. You can see the eyes in the back. Now when they were saying about comfort and adaptability, essentially the headset, you can see it turns around. So you can fold them, you can put them away, you can keep them tidy, put them on your desk or whatever. But also it means that they can move around on your head quite nicely. But also, if I show you, which way should we do it? We'll do it this way. The ear cups, they can move around as well. So you can make them really, you know, they'll adapt to your head. But I'm not even going to joke about this. I've got big ears. I know I've got big ears. I was always had the mickey taken out of me at school about it. I think my ears have been this big since I was 8. Poor me. But anyway, why I'm bringing this up is my ears fit inside here. I mean, completely inside as well. And they don't touch this back thing at all. So you've got some really nice big ear cups. There's not too much pressure on your head either, so it completely goes over your ear, so they're nice, and that's where the cool and comfortable kind of thing comes from. So we've got that. You also see you've got a nice bit of orange branding. There's actually orange around the headband. It's stitched around the headband, and I actually quite like that. You can see if we get the light on it right, which I'm not going to be able to tell because the light outside is so bright at the moment. But you have got Strix on the headband as well. There's also some really nice comfy pads. Now I personally don't generally use headsets because they give me a headache, but I tried these out the other night. I was only listening to music, but I had them on for probably 3.5 hours while I was bugging around doing some stuff on the website, and I found them completely comfortable. They've actually got 60mm drivers in these as well, so there's a fair bit of bass there as well. The sound quality isn't up to an audiophile level, but they are bloody good headsets. And to the point, I'd say they put a lot of the gamer-inspired stuff to shame. So we've got those. Now, with the, let's zoom you out again, just to kind of skirt around the other points that we need to talk about. The headset does have a USB connector which powers the little volume thing that you have on your desk. Also is for the noise cancellation, but you have got a 3.5mm for the headphone and the microphone that you do need to plug in as well. So that's something that you need to kind of keep in mind. You are going to need a USB port and the other two. But something that's really good about it is they've sent a lot of adapters to go with it. So you've got one for old Nokia, Sony Ericsson and Samsung that you can plug in, and then you've got another one that you can plug in for Apple, HTC, Samsung, Sony, PS4. So you can use it on your computer, but then you have got the ability to use these to go onto your mobile devices as well. And you may think, oh, what about the USB thing? Well, that's all able to be detachable. So your headset, there's a 1.2 meter cable there, which you can then plug that into your mobile device through the adapter if you want to, or you can plug that in on your desk. So it's quite easy to have your USB thing and everything set up, have your volume control and your noise cancelling pickup on your desk, and you can just unplug it and take it with you if you want. And then also the microphone is detachable, but also this thing, and I will zoom you in for it, this thing is actually really, really pliable and bendy, and you can pretty much put it wherever you want. And I have been trying to destroy this and it's still working, but you can move it about loads, you can put it where you want. Do you know what I mean? It does only fit on one side of the headset, which I think it might have been a nice idea to have been able to have had it on both sides, depending on, you know, because I've always kind of, sometimes I have it and I'm like, oh, I would prefer it on the other side. But anyway, that's just a minor point. There's also some more of the black and orange detailing picked up there. As far as the black and orange on the headset and the audio is concerned, it doesn't really follow through to the graphics card. The graphics card is a very chunky, nice looking bit of kit. It's a shame that we never ever see the graphics cards when they go in our rig, but you can see, if you take a step back, you can see the owl on that heatsink, or at least on the fan shroud anyway. But beyond that point, we've got, where it says 780, we've got a 6-pin and an 8-pin power connector. We do have a backplate, and again, like I said, it's got DirectCU 2 on here. I do think it should have said Strix. That is something I hope they fix in the not too distant future, for no other reason than confusion of the branding. I know that we've got a DirectCU cooler in here, or, you know, the heatsink is DirectCU, direct contact. But I just think because of the older brand graphics cards were DirectCU, I do just think that it could confuse people, and you don't particularly want to be explaining to everyone, oh yes, but it has got, it should just make sense. So I do just think it should just say Strix. It's a nice brace on it, it all does look nice, it's all nice and dark. It's got red eyes on this one, so I don't know whether we're going to have graphics is going to be red and then the audio is going to be orange. We will have to see how things progress. But essentially, you've got Strix. Zoom yourself back out again, Tom. Come on. You've got Strix, and this is going to sit alongside ROG. So you may have some products that are at the same price point with both, but predominantly all of the very higher end stuff is going to be on the ROG. So that will be where the expensive stuff is. But there will be some crossover points within the ranges. I think the Strix stuff is going to be more, confusingly with the names, the Strix stuff is going to be more aligned at a gamer's perspective. So that'll be more gamer-esque, which when you consider Republic of Gamers and ROG, I think we'll probably end up starting to call them ROG as time progresses. But anyway, so we've got these two new products, and like I said, the brand is new, but hopefully I've kind of explained where the owls, you know, going to be coming from, the silence, the hunting, the audio positioning, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, from what I've seen so far, especially with this headset, the build quality and the actual quality of the stuff that they're sending with it, all of the extra cables, the noise cancellation, the quality of the audio, it's actually all a really positive thing. I actually really like these headsets, to the point where I think I'm going to keep them in the office for those occasions when I do need to have Skype chats and stuff. And heaven forbid that I may start getting some complaints about noise and stuff from my neighbours. So that's where Asus are with Strix. I actually think this could be quite good going forward. It's going to be nice to see some new peripherals coming through. Peripherals is a big thing for Asus. So I would assume that we're going to be seeing Strix mice and keyboards in the not too distant future. I think it would be silly just to make it all about audio, but I'm pretty sure that we will. Graphics cards. I know the trolls are going to be saying, oh, why didn't they bring a 780 Ti out? We'll give them a chance, peeps. This is just the first one. And to be honest with you, as far as retailers concerned, they still do sell a lot more 780s than they do 780 Tis. So they're going to release it all in stages. So I would assume that in over the coming months we will see more Strix graphics cards, and I don't see it as being a bad thing either. The 6GB may sound excessive, but a lot of the game ports now, because of unified memory architecture with the consoles, are actually utilising video memory a lot more. So the extra video memory will definitely be a good thing. It's also going to help if you're running larger resolutions than 1920 by 1080. You can gobble video memory with 1440. But let's face it, if you're thinking about getting a 4K screen, because Asus have just brought the 287Q out, which is a 4K screen. I think it's about 600 quid. It's actually just over there to the left. That's technically 4 1080 screens on one panel. So, you know, the extra video memory there could help there significantly as well. But I'm not going to rattle on anymore. That is Asus Strix, and I have been Tiny Tom Logan.